Oh, hell, is it me you're looking for? I can see it in your demons. I can see it in your fire. You're all I've ever watched, and my eyes are open wide, 'cause you have such sights to show, and your pits are filled with goo. And I want to tell you so much. I love you. I'm Nathan.
I'm just embarrassed.
Yeah, and I'm in hell. We're already there. It's happening. No, I'm Eric. Am I next, right? I don't know where we're at. I'm just.
And I'm Ben, and I'm deeply disturbed by all that.
I don't know what just happened. That was incredible.
I didn't know one could be possessed poorly by Lionel Richie.
Is there a way to be possessed, like appropriately by Lionel Richie?
I feel like the answer is probably yes in some way.
This is a trick question.
There is no right answer to that. I was gonna go with Hall and Oates riff and make it like a Hall and Goats or Hell and Oates, but
yeah, Hell and Oates probably would have.
So you just had poor options all around. Congratulations.
I don't know what you're talking about. Those are fantastic options. And we are Video Monsters. We are coming to you. At least I think we're still Video Monsters if Eric and Dan haven't quit on me already.
Or if people haven't already turned us off.
I was going to say, that was the first trial that you had to get through to get to the rest of this episode.
Yeah, that was the first circle of hell.
Dude, we're starting
probably
off
the second through fifth.
We're starting off with a Lionel Richie riff. We didn't turn anything off. If anything, we turned everything on.
That's a fair point. What a beautiful man.
Yes. We are Video Monsters. We are coming to you from Chattanooga Film Festival, but we're on our way to hell, because tonight is our Infernal Visions Popcorn Punch-Out Video Rack Attack Bracket, where we will be battling it out to determine the top 3 cinematic depictions of hell.
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
Yep.
Man, I should have made a note of all of the stupid puns you were going to do over the course of this episode. That's definitely one on the bingo card.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I never use puns. I never start the episode off in the just worst possible ways. No idea what you're talking about.
You'll figure it out.
Yeah, texted Dan and Eric before the episode, like, all right, y'all are either going to love the start or you're going to quit. To which Eric replied, so like every episode, right?
Yeah. Par for the course.
So, if you've never listened to us before, we are going to be going through and talking about cinematic depictions of hell with our Popcorn Punch-Out, which is a very, very, very loose bracket to arrive at a top 3. It's going to be some random pairings and discussing some things. But before even getting into like the details of how we're going to be approaching this, we should probably start with why we're talking about hell. And 2 of the main reasons, it's just because, well, 3, it's just fun to talk about, you know, like who doesn't like sitting down and just, you know, just shooting the shit about hell.
Yeah, I mean, Christians do it all the time. It's like you go to church on Sunday, then that's what you're doing, right? You're talking about hell, fire, and brimstone.
But they're doing it in like the not fun way. This is more like
your every waking thought. It's I must be a good person to escape eternal torment rather than be a good person because it's the right thing to do, you know?
Right.
Yeah. I don't think Scientologists talk about hell.
Dude, speaking of hell and Scientology,
the closest Tom Cruise has ever come was Legend. So I feel like after that, he just avoids it as a topic in general.
That's what converted him.
Speaking of hell and Scientology, there is a great Scientology joke in Bedazzled.
A lot of people one way or the other.
Oh, that's a fair point.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Nathan, what were you saying?
I was saying Bedazzled has a great Scientology joke.
Does it really? I haven't not seen that in a while, but Used to watch all the time as a kid.
You should. It's a fun movie. That's not what we're talking about tonight, though. We are talking about Hell, and we're talking about it because as soon as Chat Film Fest posted in the second wave announcement that they were going to be screening F.W. Murnau's Faust with an original metal as fuck live score by the Mad Geniuses, The Silent Light, we were just like, well, yeah, like obviously we have to talk about Hell, right? And then there's a number of other hellacious films that are screening. And so it just seemed like the right fit. It seemed like the right thing to do for Video Monsters to go to Hell.
Absolutely. That's also just so fucking rad that they're doing that, doing the live metal score. It's just so awesome. I love that shit so much. I really wish that was a thing that like happened more than once a year or whenever, at least in our area. I know up in Central Cinema in Knoxville, they do stuff like that every now and then too. They have the Enjoy the Silence series and stuff like that, but it's too bad we don't get more of that kind of stuff. Yeah. We're all such uncultured swine.
Well, it's bringing back some of that tactile, immersive experience rather than just, oh, we're just watching a movie. It's like, no, you're going to an event. And I think that it helps remind people that cinema is art. Because there's too many people out there that view movies as just like, it's just a movie, like whatever, dude. And those people are wrong. Very wrong. Also, we're talking about Hell because this is the summer in the South. And so naturally it's hot as hell.
Hot and muggy. Yeah, we getting too much rain lately. But anywho,
talk about the weather. Let's talk a little bit about Hell because we're doing something a little bit different tonight than we typically do with our popcorn punch outs. Where technically we're talking about movies, but we're not necessarily ranking the movies themselves. We're going to be arguing about the cinematic depictions of Hell. So even if the movie is where does like its version of Hell rank against the others? And so there's a few things about Hell that I wanted us to get into before we get into the actual popcorn punch out itself. And the first thing was just how many different types of hell are depicted in movies. Like you've got the deals with the devil type. You've got the consequences for past sins. You've got the devil, or surprisingly in a number of movies, the devil's son trying to take over the world. Like that's in Little Nicky and Constantine and Ghost Rider. There is a whole lot of just shitty satanic sons wanting to usurp their daddy. You've got a lot of like the ecstasy and pain, like one person's hell is another man's pleasure. You've got your own personal hell where it's really tapping in to like the individual experiences and the things that might be hellacious for one are just a Tuesday for others. You've got a very emotional hell where there's nothing actually like affecting the body and it is entirely pulling on those heartstrings and dealing with the emotions. The exact opposite of that, you've got a very visceral hell. You've got things where you've got people being flayed and flesh torn apart and the bones being ground into stew and just all the things that make it just kind of go like, icky. You've got hell indistinguishable from reality. And we're going to talk about that in just a second as to why that isn't exactly one of the criteria that we were going with on tonight's options. You've got hell as a physical space, hell as a state of consciousness or a state of being, and then hell as other realms. So like there's so many different types of hells that I'm really, really curious as to where things are going to go in tonight's episode because I have no idea what the hell either of you are going to pick on any of these.
Yeah, we left it fairly open to our own personal taste for what we prefer in our hell films and our cinematic depictions of hell. It's also interesting to see like how a lot of them remix a lot of the same imagery in certain, I mean, obviously I think that the traditional depiction of hell is, the fire and brimstone and rock and volcanic, all that kind of stuff, like the flaming pit of hell. But it's interesting to see how there's also other like recurring motifs like disembodied limbs stuck in various surfaces and I don't know.
You've got a lot of the Han Solo treatment where it looks like they're stuck in carbonite, just kind of
right.
There.
Yeah, it's kind of fascinating to see which of these films kind of pick and choose their different iconography from hell and how they choose to present it. Yeah, I don't know. I can't wait to get into it with all of these different movies to see what everybody prefers, what we're all like kind of leaning toward.
You've also got the fun hell, like in Little Nicky, where the two dudes that he makes friends with are like super happy to be rocking out in his bedroom at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you've got the just, oh no, hell's a rad place to be.
Agreed.
Which is odd in relation to some of these other movies, but yeah. So yeah, you've got all those depictions of hell, but then you also have the variety of movies. We've got silence, we've got horror movies, animated movies, comedies, drama, romance, action, a surprising number of musicals dealing with hell. Mm-hmm. I really, really wanted to put in, but I know that I wouldn't have made it to the end. And I knew that the two of you were going to be like, no, dude, there's better movies for us to talk about. The Apple was one of the first movies that I thought of. Where it's like, we have to talk about The Apple. It's not on our list, so I'm talking about it now. The Apple fucking rules.
I mean, I would say that there's a lot of stuff in that movie that is great, but also sitting through it sometimes feels like you're in hell. So, I mean,
dude,
you get kind of like a second screen experience, or like a true life experience, a 3D, 5D, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, that film needs to be like given the Room treatment, I feel.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I would absolutely love to watch that with an audience. Watching it by yourself is somewhat torturous.
I would also enjoy that film with a live heavy metal score.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Just replace all of the songs with metal covers of the songs they're singing.
Yeah.
That would rule. We'll get Robert Woods, our buddy, on that.
I mean, they really don't even need to like change the costumes and the outfits in the film. It's
yeah, I was gonna say I just want to watch the movie with Robert. Like that just sounds wonderful to me.
With him playing his little keyboard along with it.
Yes.
Yeah. Robert Woods, CFF alum.
Yes.
For context.
Robert Woods, who was going to be our Devil from Down Under, but unfortunately we weren't able to get the scheduling worked out for him to join us, which is unfortunate because I really, really wanted a Satan with an Aussie accent.
Well, that's a Tasmanian devil, essentially.
Jesus Christ.
I set him up, he knocks him out.
It was right there. It was right there. Incredible.
So here's one of the other things that I don't know if the two of you experienced during some of the research leading up to this episode. There are lots of movies with Satan and devils and cults and devil worshiping and Satanists and like paganism. And there is a lot of hell is ever present in the movie. There's not as many movies that actually show hell.
It's actually surprising.
Yeah, that was one of the things that surprised me the most.
This would be no problem because I thought of all these movies where the devil makes an appearance. I'm like, but it's always on Earth. Always.
Right. Yeah.
It just goes to show, I think, what a challenge it is, like to not only like, because, you think about hell and you're like, it has to be like, how do you depict that on film in a way that's going to accurately convey what exactly it is? It either needs to be like super big and epic in scope, or you've got to find a way to figure out how on a smaller kind of budget to make hell like have a real vision for it and make it come to life in a way that makes it seem genuinely horrifying or upsetting.
And
I can't wait to dig
vision,
into that.
You might say.
Exactly. And it's interesting to see how movies solve that problem. And we've got a good spectrum of films that are like higher budget, bigger, like kind of epic versions of hell versus like some movies that on a shoestring budget come up with like a pretty compelling vision of what that would look like. But that's a challenge. I think that a lot of movies are like, let's just pull them out and, we'll have the devil dealing with us peasants on Earth, and we won't have to deal with all the issue of depicting it on screen.
Yeah, and in just a minute when we actually get to the list of the movies in tonight's Punch Out, there's going to be at least one that has people saying, what the fuck? What? How did that make the list? And one very notable exclusion that we will also talk about why it didn't make this specific list. So Eric, I have a theory to what, like exactly to what you were just saying as far as how hell is depicted. I have a theory as to why hell itself is not in as many movies as I expected there to be when we decided on this theme before doing our research, and why there's even fewer movies where the movie is like set in hell. Because even the ones in tonight's episode, most of them have a scene in hell. There's only 3 or 4 that are actually like set in hell. So my theory is hell has been a part of just art and cinema throughout history. I mean, you know, go back to caveman drawings and you're probably going to find someone being tortured over a fiery pit, or maybe that's just dinner. I don't know. But like hell has been in art forever. Stories about hell, literally since the beginning. You've got stories about hell with the Bible. Like,
I mean, it's the original story, right? That's the
exactly. And like everyone has their own image of what hell is. And in literature, I think that it's really easy because you have like the H.P. Lovecraft approach of a little goes a long way. You talk about how hellacious it is and, you know, the screams and cries of the tormented. And like just saying that, and you're like, oh my God, I can picture how hellacious that is with very little actual description giving those details. And in art, you've got a lot of artistic license. You know, like a lot of the classic Renaissance paintings of hell, those they have a very certain look about them, and it just kind of evokes a feeling.
Yeah.
But in movies, because most of them are using real people, I have a theory that too many people complain about hell not looking real enough. Like, oh, that's not what hell really looks like. It's like, motherfucker, how do you know? And it's just, I think that because cinema is a much more immersive artistic experience where it's not just a picture, it's the moving picture. You know, like no one ever talks about seeing the strings in a painting. No one ever talks about like, oh man, the way that word was composed is really dated. It's really showing its age. But it's impossible to talk about movies without talking about seeing the seams or how the CGI hasn't aged well, or how the fire looks fake, or how people don't look like they're in enough agony, or it's clear that it's just a cutout of a hole in a cardboard with a person's face sticking through. And I think that that's just unfortunate because there's some good hellacious movies out there.
It's also, I mean, film is obviously a collaborative medium. It takes a lot of people, a lot of effort to make something like this come to life on screen. Whereas, you know, in any other medium, you can, you know, a painting is a single artist, generally speaking, and a book is the work of one person, and that you have a relatively unlimited canvas to work with in other mediums. But in film, it's a little bit trickier to pull off.
You know, canvases are actually limited, right? Like they have borders and they have frames.
Well, I was talking about in a book, the canvas is your imagination.
Books are written on paper, not canvas.
All right, enough table setting. We get all the.
I have one more thing that I need to say.
Okay, go ahead.
Specifically, hell in movies.
Okay,
it's real damn easy to get out of hell in movies. Almost every single one of these has people just escaping hell or just walking out of it or just like, oh, yep, here's the exit to get out of hell.
I'm going to tell you this.
Well, isn't the point of hell is to know it?
And
to know
love
of its existence and tell people that it's real. If you go there and just get stuck there, you can't tell other people it's real, and then what's the point?
Yeah,
right, yeah.
But to quote to quote Tilda Swinton in Constantine, you have to believe, and with Constantine, you don't believe you know. So, like, if someone knows that hell is real, then he's just like, all right, well, don't get caught doing bad things. But if you believe that there's an everlasting torture, that changes something. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. Sneak peek, we're going to be doing trivia in a minute, and one of my trivia questions is based on this observation. Just so you know.
Good. All right, so here is what is going to happen. We have 16 movies that we are going to be debating, and these 16 movies are going to be pulled randomly from this giant plastic Halloween skull. And in each of those pairings, we are going to argue about which one is better and give some of the reasons why. And then we will vote on which one advances to the next round. So it's not like a real bracket where there's like rankings or, like the winner of this one doesn't go up against the loser of that one. It's more of just like a pool where they're all thrown in, they're jumbled about and pulled out. And yes, this is very, very chaotic. This was obviously very heavily inspired by Screen Drafts. We all love that podcast. It's a great podcast. If you don't listen to it, you should. But we throw a little bit more chaos into what we do. So if a movie loses, rather than it just being out, we have some gizmos to keep that movie alive. One of them is the chaos card, where we can advance a movie either into the next round or into the chaos bracket, which is the loser's bracket of the final four. And guys, since we are doing this non-canonically, we don't have any of our rollover chaos cards, but I am going to give each of us 2 the same way that we do whenever we have a guest join us for the first time. So we do have 2 chaos cards. Okay. One of them can advance a movie to the next round. One of them can advance it into the chaos bracket. We also have some other gizmos, and those are, there's an extra chaos card in the first round, and that one can only be used in the first round. And you can only send one movie into the chaos bracket. So if your first round chaos card is used to save something into the chaos bracket, the next 2 have to only be into the next round. There is a redraw. So before actually voting, we can put one of the movies back into the skull, jumble them around a bit, and then pull one back out. So there is a possibility during a redraw that the same movie is going to come back out. And then there is one that I'm falling more and more in love with, the Foxcatcher, which can block a chaos card, but you have to use a chaos card to use it. So if the movie that I really want to advances, and I use a chaos card, and Dan says, no, fuck that, I hate that movie, there is no way that we are keeping that one alive, he can use a Foxcatcher, if that's the extra gizmo he has, but one of his 2 chaos cards has to be used. Because otherwise, it's just too powerful to stop someone else from doing something. So you do have to use one of your 2 chaos cards to use that. And we've got some other fiddly little rules that'll keep things going. We understand them. Honestly, you don't need to. You have the basics of it's chaotic. We're going to argue about movies. Some of them will advance. Some of them won't. And the fun is in the arguing, not in the actual details of the rules themselves.
You'll catch on pretty quick. We'll keep the audience abreast of the situation as we go along.
Or like many of our guests, you will say, don't worry, I got it. And then halfway through, you'll be like, what the fuck is going on? I thought I understood this.
But then by the end, you'll be like, you know what? That was crazy, but it was fun. I get it now. This is...
It leads to some really great plays when we have people who don't understand what we're doing. It's awesome. All right, so tonight's trivia is going to also run a little bit different from the trivia that we usually do, if there's any longtime listeners listening to this. So tonight's trivia rules are the 666 edition, because, it's Satan and hell. So there are going to be 6 questions. There are going to be 6 answers, and we only have 6 seconds. Yep. What that means in reality is there's only going to be 6 questions, but this is going to be like rapid fire. So Eric, these better not be long ass questions with complicated answers. We have 6 answers. Did we agree that it's 1 answer per question or 6 answers total? One answer per question. Okay.
Per question.
You have 1 guess. So if you get it wrong the first time, you do not get a second opportunity, and you have to answer within 6 seconds. I'm not actually going to keep a stopwatch. It's just if we're sitting here going, all right, that's time.
And then I cut you off and I get the point and we move on.
Right. All right. So
as
Eric,
the trivia master here,
are you ready with your questions?
Yes. Yeah. And just to clarify, you might have mentioned this, but I don't pay attention when you speak. So whoever wins this trivia round gets to decide first who gets their little power-ups that we talked about a minute ago.
Yes. Winner of trivia gets first pick of those gizmos because you only get one. And when someone picks that one, then it's out of the running for the others. But winner of trivia also has to go first in deciding whether or not to use a chaos card. So if you lose trivia, you don't get your first pick, but you can wait around and see if other people use their chaos cards to keep something alive.
I also love that we have gotten this far and we haven't even mentioned what movies we're going to be talking about.
I'm getting to that in a second. I'm getting to that.
That's great. All right,
I have a flow that I'm following.
That's fine. Oh, you got a little document there that you're looking at?
Yeah. That's why my eyes keep going over there. It's because my document's over there.
Like I said, I don't pay attention to what you're saying or what you're doing.
What's great is your backdrop is looking at my document.
Nice. It's a beautiful. Oh God, I love it. Look at this. Look at this beautiful Travis Knight artwork we got back here.
Travis fucking rocks.
He does. All right. Question number 1. Are you ready?
Nope.
Ready.
All right. This is the longest question, so give me a second. All right. Fill in the blanks to the following lyrics from the song Beelzebub by Tenacious D. For context, in the song, Jack Black has just challenged Satan to a rock-off, and Satan, played by Dave Grohl, exclaims, here's the lyrics, fuck, fuck, fuck. The demon code prevents me from declining a rock-off challenge. What are your terms? What's the catch? And then here's Jack Black. If we win, you must take your sorry ass back to hell, and also you will have to blank our blank.
Suck our cock.
Suck our balls.
I love that both of you said the wrong answer so quickly and so confidently.
Oh, shit. Fuck. I know the answer, but I already used my answer. Fuck. I know the answer.
Do you want to go ahead and say it, Nathan?
Pay our rent.
Pay our rent. Yes, that is correct.
Fuck.
I figured it's a Tenacious D song. They say suck our balls.
I was
90% of the songs.
I'm so proud of that one because I just knew that's what you guys were going to think.
That's a great question. God damn it. Fuck.
Favorite. All right. Question number 2. In the film Event Horizon, Sam Neill designs a ship that opens a portal into a hell-like dimension. It's possible that Neill attained this power earlier in his career when he portrayed the son of the devil in which Omen sequel?
3.
Correct. Yes. Dan is on the board, so that's a point for me, a point for Dan. Nathan, you better catch up, bro.
I at least knew the answer. Stupid rules.
Right. Question 3. In The Devil's Advocate, Al Pacino plays John Milton, an unbelievably obvious and hilarious alias that references the author of what epic poem about the fall of man?
John Milton.
No, he's asking the poem. Yeah.
The poem, yes.
Yeah.
You weren't saying John Milton as your answer.
I was.
You were pondering.
Paradise Lost.
You were pondering. Yes. All right. Dan has 2 points. I have 1. Nathan has 0.
It's fair.
Let's move on. All right. This one I'm not sure about. In the forgotten 2014 film Winter's Tale, starring Colin Farrell, Lucifer is portrayed by what mega famous movie star / rapper?
LL Cool J.
Incorrect.
Mega famous, but I just want to see LL Cool J as the devil.
That would be incredible.
Andre 3000.
No, the answer is Will Smith.
I like our answers better.
Me too.
I agree. It's just really funny that Will Smith played the devil and nobody knows that happened.
Nobody cared.
All right, 2 for me, 2 for Dan. Nathan, it's going to be incredible if you tie this up and just 2. All right.
Not likely.
That's okay. In the film Dogma, the demon Azrael, played by Jason Lee, says that he was able to get out of hell because he was coming up for a routine blank.
HVAC inspection?
It's so good.
Possession.
I want to give you that point, but that's not correct. Keep in mind that he is a demon.
Possession.
Coming to Earth. Possession. Yes, there you go, Nathan. All right, here we go. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. All right. In the film The Devil Wears Prada, Meryl Streep's character Miranda Priestley is allegedly based on Anna Wintour, the editor-in-chief of what fashion magazine?
Vogue.
Vogue.
Fuck, Nathan, you tied it up.
I mean, we could give me a half point since I did know the line of pay my rent.
That's absolutely incredible. I love that this ended up. It didn't even occur to me when you came up with the stupid 666 rule that it could be 2 to 2 to 2. Absolutely incredible. You know what, Nathan? I'll give. Do you want half a point, Dan? You want to give Nathan half a point? Let him.
I don't care. Sure.
All right, fine. Let's. Yeah, we'll roll.
All right. So technically, I won.
Sure.
Who then came in second?
What a wonderful comeback. That was. I don't know. Should we let fate decide?
You wrote all the questions. I'll give you the second place.
Okay, I appreciate it. I did work pretty hard on these.
Yes.
That's fair. All right. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to go with the extra chaos.
Oh, thank God. I want the Foxcatcher.
Of course you do.
which I've never had before.
And that leaves the remainder.
So you get the redraw.
The redraw.
Mhm.
All right, so here are the movies that are in tonight's Popcorn Punch-Out. These are in chronological order. I'm giving the name of the movie, the year of release, and the directors because we're not going to spend much time actually talking about the movie, so we're not giving all the Letterboxd information. So if you're unfamiliar with any of these movies and want to know more about them, you can go to Letterboxd, and I should be giving you enough information for you to find the correct movie. So we have L'Inferno from 1911, directed by Giuseppe de Leggero. Francesco Bertolini. I shouldn't have started with this one, but them's the breaks. And Adolfo Padovan. Jigoku from 1960, directed by Nobu Nakagawa. Look, that one I blame my eyes and switching the G and the K. Jigoku from 1960, directed by Nobu Nakagawa. This Night I'll Possess Your Corpse from 1967, directed by Jose Mojica Marins. Altered States from 1980, directed by Ken Russell. Should have fucked that one up. Ken Russell. Hellbound, Hellraiser 2 from 1988, directed by Tony Randall. All Dogs Go to Heaven from 1989, directed by Don Bluth. Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey from 1991, directed by Peter Hewitt. Tales from the Hood from 1995, directed by Rusty Cundiff. Spawn from 1997, directed by Mark A.Z. Dippey. There's an accent over the E, and I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce his last name either. My apologies. What Dreams May Come from 1998, directed by Vincent Ward. South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut from 1999, directed by Trey Parker. Little Nicky from 2000, directed by Stephen Braille. Constantine from 2005, directed by Francis Lawrence. As Above, So Below from 2014, directed by John Eric Dowdle. Baskin from 2015, a CFF movie alum, directed by Can Evernall. And Mad God from 2021, directed by Phil Tippett. So let's go ahead and get these elephants out of the room. We have Spawn in this list.
Yeah, we do.
Much to some of our chagrin.
Much to my actual grin, because that was on my list of there's no fucking way this is going to be on either of their lists. And then it was on Dan's list. And I was like, I don't even care if it dies in the first round. I'm just happy that it was on Dan's list too. Here's the other major elephant in the room. We do not have Event Horizon on this list. And here's why. Is it hell? Because we spent some time talking about this beforehand of what are our criteria going to be for the movies. And the movies have to actually be set. There has to be at least one scene that does take place in hell. And it has to actually be hell. And so with Event Horizon, it was, is it literal hell? Is it just an alternate dimension that is so hellacious? Is it a Hellraiser movie? If so, yes, it counts. And so there was some of that back and forth. And some people would say, no, it absolutely is hell. Why aren't you including it? The other reason is because the movie has to actually have a scene in hell and not just hell on earth.
Yeah.
The scenes from Event Horizon are so quick and so fleeting, it almost doesn't count as a scene.
Yeah.
Almost.
I can see people getting mad at us because it does have sort of the plot device of people experiencing their own personal version of hell on the spaceship, and we have some movies that do that, but they're a lot more explicitly hell, I think. So yeah, that's kind of the one executive decision we had to make, where it was like when we talked about this, Event Horizon was one of the first movies that I thought of, and ultimately we were
same.
It was a bit too much of an edge case, I think, ultimately.
Yeah, now
if they ever release that alleged director's cut that has all the extra Hellraisery bits and gooey goodness in it, maybe that would work one day. But
yeah, and part of it again is because we were going with actual hell and not just again like torture realm and we couldn't just have death. We couldn't just have the underworld or limbo. So it had to actually be like named hell. Doesn't have to be named hell because other religions, other cultures name it something different. And so, yeah, with Event Horizon, it's the same kind of reason that we don't have movies like Odd Thomas on here, where it's like, yeah, hell is kind of another realm that is constantly taking place around them, but does it count? Does Ghost Rider count? Does it? So we went back and forth on some of the does it count, does it not? And how we arrived at these movies was each of us just made a list of, here are the ones that I want on the list. And there just so happened to be between our 16, which is perfect for the Popcorn Punch-Out. And even though all of us thought Event Horizon, none of us actually put it on our list. But it's a really fucking great movie.
So
Everyone
if you're
should
mad
watch
that's not on here, you can blame all of us.
Yes.
But mostly Nathan.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way everything should go. You can blame all of us. Just blame me.
Plus, I feel like if it had made it on the list, it would almost be like the automatic winner.
Yeah.
It's hard not to put that as the top one if you're going to include it for me. So by keeping it off, it actually makes it a little more interesting.
Agreed. Yeah. I think we'll have a pretty interesting, eclectic.
Yeah. It's like having a T-ball home run contest with, like, Aaron Judge. You just know
I would love to see it.
You just know he's going to win, so just take him out of the competition.
Incredible.
Yeah, because I'm sure that when people started listening to this episode and we were going through the description, I'm sure countless people were like, oh, sweet, Event Horizon. So the fact that it probably for a lot of people was the first one they thought of, we're kind of spacing things out.
Yeah, we're just so damn edgy. We're not going to include that.
We do have a lot of movies from the 80s and 90s, though. Like, we only have 3 movies before 1980, and then 1, 2, 3. Oh, only 3 in the 80s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
2
Hell
from
was really on our minds in the 90s.
I can tell you all you need to know about us Gen Xers.
Yeah.
Yep. And what a lovely hell it is. What was it? With Event Horizon being out of it, I don't have a definitive top 3 that I hope make it to the end. There are some that, like, if I was just to quickly say, all right, yeah, these 3, but there's at least 6 of these movies that if they make it into the top, I'm like, yeah, that's the right call. Some of these movies are the wrong call, and they better not make it past the first round.
Kind of have a top 3, but we'll see.
We'll
see. I'm
all Spawn all the way.
It's just Spawn 3 times. Somehow it spawns more spawns, just like in the movie.
Just like
spawns an army of spawns.
I have 3 that I hope make it, but we'll see what actually happens. All right, let's get into this. Whew. So in round 1, we have Spawn.
You fucking kidding me?
Going up against What Dreams May Come.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a pairing.
Battle of the 90s tearjerkers.
Except one of the movies has a heartfelt love story and
Battle of the Wife Guys.
Yes.
Well, both of them had dead wives, man. No, wait. Spawn did not. Spawn was the dead wife.
One of these movies is a caring, heartfelt love story about loss and regret, and the other movie has Robin Williams.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of course. Good one, Nathan. That's so funny.
Obvious joke that had to be made.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm going to make it 1,000 more times, and you have the hell scene from Spawn.
Exactly. So I'm going to go ahead and make this pitch for why I think that Spawn needs to win.
No, for fuck's sake.
Oh, God.
Which do you think sounds more hellacious? A beautifully artistic, painted rendition of your dream home where you want to spend time with your family, or really shitty CGI rendering with John Leguizamo making fart jokes?
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty easy question to answer. I've got to tell you.
Again,
Who would you rather hang out with? Big fat ass, like disgusting clown John Leguizamo, or Max von Sydow as a ferryman?
Reminder, we are not talking about quality of movie. We are talking about which hell is worse.
For me, hell is seeing Robin Williams suffer.
No,
that's too real.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Spawn, I put on the list because I can't believe someone watched the dailies of that or the finished CGI and said, "Yeah, put that on screen. That's badass." Like, if I remember correctly, Ebert loved this, and it was one of the first times I remember as a young man going, "What the hell is Ebert thinking?" I read comics in the 90s.
He made a Faustian bargain, and it was, I have to.
I read Spawn. I understood that it was, and McFarlane's art in that is very cool. It's an interesting depiction of hell. This looks like something like a kid's. For those alive in the 80s, there were these toys called color forms, where it was like a flat background and you stuck vinyl stickers that you could then move around. Mm-hmm. It's like some poor kid got a misproduced set that came with the background and 100 spawns. So all he could do was just put 100 spawns.
Copied and paste a bunch of.
Hell. And he didn't get anything else to put on it. And that's what the set scene felt like.
And doesn't that hell seem hellacious of being in a poorly rendered hell for all eternity?
But here's the problem. Okay, so we're ranking depictions of hell. It's not necessarily which one we think is most hellacious. My problem with this movie, I'm constantly thinking when I'm going into all of these, I'm looking at this as like, okay, this is hell. This is an actual place. This is supposed to be a realm of eternal torment or whatever. In this movie, hell, what is the purpose of hell? Like, what is the actual? There are no people in hell. There's no like people in hell suffering. The lore of this doesn't actually make any sense because it doesn't. Like, I actually looked into this a little bit because in the book there's actually like 12 different spheres of hell. And the like main antagonist of this movie is Malabolgia or whatever, who rules the 8th sphere, which is where he trains like the army of the apocalypse. But you don't, and like there's some really interesting lore in the comic book that you get absolutely none of in the movie. It's just, this is hell. It's full of spawns.
It's a rave with a dress code.
Yes.
And it's the absolute worst. Sub PlayStation level graphics of hell, and like
sounds terrible.
Fun in a time capsule sort of way, but like it's really boring to just look at a bunch of like weird gremlin rejects.
Mm-hmm. Don't talk about John Leguizamo that way.
This is a bummer that it's even on here. I'm so mad that you did this.
No.
You both did this.
Yes. I put it on here because I knew it would be an easy defeat.
And What Dreams May Come is like a really gorgeous, unique version of hell that I think is super interesting, where it's like this it has this like post-apocalyptic, almost like Mad Max style vision, but
it feels so lonely,
and it's very like desolate at times. And there's this like the way that he goes into it does the like, here's a bunch of like limbs stuck in the floor, or like a bunch of heads stuck in the floor, and like the way that he sees his father in there, like it's just, say what you will about the movie itself, like it's an unsuccessful adaptation.
I don't have time for that.
The Matheson novel, but like I think it's a really unique version of hell that is completely unlike. It takes some iconography that's similar to other movies, but like it does it in a really unique way. I love the kind of like the way that he shows up on this beach and like has to go up where there are these just like old battleship looking things, and he has to go up this like rickety wooden elevator to get up to the next level where he's trying to find his wife. Just the whole idea of Robin Williams is in heaven, but he can't truly feel settled and enjoy this because he knows his wife is in hell and he has to go save her, is a really interesting kind of concept of heaven as a version of hell. And then it has this really unique depiction of hell that even has these like, he falls through the floor at one point and goes into this like very H.R. Geiger-esque landscape. And I don't know, it's really interesting. And it actually has like a lot of people suffering in torment in a way that I found like beautiful, but also horrifying.
And people who love the Spawn comics went through that same torture when they watched the movie.
When they saw the movie, yeah.
Yes. So
don't worry, it'll be better in the sequel that's been coming for 20 years.
It's better in the animated movives. Just watch the animated movies.
Oh, I like to
HBO
watch that
animated
show.
was damn good.
Yeah,
I remember watching bits and pieces of it as a kid, but I never really got as into it as I wanted to because I was maybe a little too young for it.
So I do have thoughts about the movie What Dreams May Come that I don't have time to get into. But to Dan's point of it's just so lonely, this is the thing that I think makes What Dreams May Come's hell so hellacious is that his wife doesn't know she's in hell. And so that eternal isolation and being confused in her own home. And again, it's taking something that is a very real feeling and that isolation that real people experience, and people with Alzheimer's and dementia of not like knowing who their family are and just thinking about like when people talk about hell on earth.
That's one of my biggest fears in reality is losing my memory.
Yeah. And so like people talk about hell on earth, and What Dreams May Come gives you earth in hell. So you don't realize just how damned you are.
Yeah.
And I had a harder time connecting to the movie for reasons, but in that scene, despite some of the lack of connection, aside from, again, the very real Robin Williams connection, that scene was just so like, oh my God. Oh my God. It was so emotionally wrecking. Also, both of these movies have people escaping hell. Spawn just, decides to stop fighting for the devil. And in What Dreams May Come, they just have to remember. Just,
cool. Yeah.
They've got the Mufasa approach. All right.
Remember who you are.
All right.
It's funny.
Are y'all ready to vote?
Yes, I will be voting with my background. I'm going to change it to the poster of my choosing. I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to spoil my vote, but one of these movies I did not even upload a background for.
I will be voting with...
Sorry, that kicked me out there for a minute. I don't know what happened. I was sent to hell. Sorry.
Well,
and you escaped very quickly, like everyone else.
I will be holding up a note card that has my vote on it, and my vote is not a vote for what I think necessarily should win, but a solidarity vote, because I already know what's going to win.
That's usually how you vote, dude.
No, only when I know this is the one that should win.
He takes exception to that.
Only some of the time. All right, y'all ready to vote?
Ready.
Yeah. All right, Video Rack Attack.
Look, What Dreams May Come, 2-1. I cannot believe
you're so
that was a
high-tech
2-1 vote.
Also, is my camera backwards? Does this say Spawn or does it say Dwaps?
It says Spawn.
No, it'll be backwards for
mine
you.
Mine is backwards to me, but I'm hoping.
I was hoping that all of mine would just be backwards.
Too many words to say Spawn.
So my backgrounds are all backwards on my end. All right, so Spawn is eliminated, or is it?
Oh, yeah.
Anybody...
No, I am not saving Spawn.
You're not going to use the Chaos card, Nathan? No. You've got an extra one.
No, not for that.
Okay, good. At least you're somewhat reasonable.
Again, my entire bit with Spawn was just, it's poorly rendered. All right, so Spawn is...
It's insane that was put in a movie, guys. Honestly, like, it is fucking wild that the stuff in Spawn exists.
Yeah.
It's just...
Gets the honorable mention.
Glad we got to talk about it.
Oh, speaking of honorable mentions, I started the episode with, we're doing this episode in part because of the screening of Faust. And yet Faust is not on the list because it's one of the movies that has a deal with the devil, and the devil is in the entire movie. There is one scene of hell that after watching it, Eric and I were talking, and Eric was like, dude, there was no scene in hell. I was like, no, there was. You missed it.
Yeah.
There was one scene in hell that, yeah. So,
but again, we already have a Faustian film represented, and it just got knocked out, so it's fine.
We've got a few other Faust. Anywho, all right, up next, we have Hellbound, Hellraiser 2. Shit. Going up against Constantine.
Oh.
Interesting. This is going to be a... Okay.
That's a good pairing.
It's
Really
too
good.
good of a pairing because these are also two of the first movies I thought of. Like I did a lot of Nathan and I know, and Dan, I assume you did too, but like I spent a lot of time like trying to find some fun depictions of hell in movies that I wasn't aware of. But like these two are like one of the first.
Redraw.
Which one are you putting back?
Throw Constantine back in.
Oh man, I didn't even think of
I was hoping that, but I wasn't going to suggest it because it is still pretty early.
I'd never do it this early, but I didn't want those two going against
already
me.
on round 2. Man, beautiful. I love it. That was a good move. All right, so redraw is out of the picture.
Okay, this did not make it any easier for me, at least. Constantine went back into the skull, and out came Tales from the Hood.
Interesting, man. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start talking about Tales from the Hood before I start thinking about Hellbound. So Tales from the Hood, it was a late edition that I initially did not realize was a hell movie until I got a text from like Fright Rags.
And why is it, Eric, that you did not? This is probably seeming like I'm throwing more shade than I mean for it to. But why is it that you did not realize that Tales from the Hood was a hell movie?
Because I'd never seen it before, Nathan.
It's such a good movie. God,
it's fantastic. It's so much better than I expected it to be. I mean, I really like Rusty Cundiff. I think he's a pretty underrated director. He also did like Fear of a Black Cat, which is just an impeccable like Spinal Tap for hip hop music mockumentary. Absolutely incredible. And he did a lot of Chappelle Show and stuff. But like, I'd never seen Tales from the Hood, and when I realized that it was a hell movie and I kind of looked into it more deeply, I was like, oh, this is a really fun, unique take on hell, because it's essentially what if Clarence Williams III is essentially like the ferryman who is just biding your time and making you reflect on your life by telling these like really interesting Tales from the Crypt style anecdotes that make you reflect on your life and your poor choices. And I thought that was really cool. It's like you're going through the funeral parlor and you're going down the river Styx, essentially, I guess.
Well, and one of the things that I love so much about it, major spoilers, if you've not yet seen
I guess I kind of already spoiled it.
Fucking great movie. You need to watch it. But one of the things that I love so much about it is none of the people going through hell realize that the story's about them. And so listening to the stories like, man, that's fucked up. That who would do such a thing? And then when there's that realization of like, oh shit, that was me, like that instantly puts even more guilt on top of them before they go off to other torturous things.
Yeah.
And
there's also, it's fun to just see like he's kind of crypt keepery. But like whenever you know that that's where the movie is headed, I think it's actually more fun because you can see all the little like, clues they put in there. And it's even fun to just have him like open the door and be like, I've been waiting for you boys. Like,
and it would have been so easy for his for his representation of creepy morgue director to have been comical or to have been like a farce, but he plays it so damn well that like it's funny, but holy shit, he owns that role in a way that is just like I am both spooked out and endeared.
No, it's a really incredible performance. And I guess he doesn't play the role in the sequels. Doesn't Keith David take over the role because he had passed by the time they did 2 and 3?
Part 2.
Yeah. Which again, just incredible. I'm sure he fucking kills it. But yeah, I just think this one's really fun and a unique take on it that I like. It's not, you definitely do see hell. And at the end of it, he actually kind of morphs into a similar gremlin-like creature that you see in Spawn, but surprisingly done much better for an earlier film.
This movie also is set entirely in hell. You just don't realize it till the end.
Right, yeah. It's a facade that he has built on top of it, which I think it's kind of fun that he's just fucking with them.
Yeah. So I'll say this about Hellraiser. Both of you know how much I adore Hellraiser. Despite some really shitty entries, it is one of my favorite franchises. I love Pinhead. I love Hellraiser. I love Clive Barker's stories. they're just so visceral and gooey and goopy and bloody and torturous and erotic. And I just fucking love Hellraiser so much. I have some issues with Hellbound and how the first 30 minutes of the movie are a recap of Hellraiser 1, but there is no arguing the hell that is represented in that movie. And so I'm going to make things a little bit easier for both of you. I'm using my first round chaos card on whatever loses. I love both of these movies so much. I will not let one of them pass. So that's all that I'll say for now. I love both of them. My first round chaos is going to be spent. Which one will depend on where it goes.
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, my favorite thing about Hellbound is, one, it answered the question that I had from the first Hellraisers: why do these things appear to come out of a hallway?
Don't you mean a hellway?
Because hell looks like an endless array of corridors, which, for anyone who has a fear of ever getting lost or even is even the least bit claustrophobic, that's just awful seeming.
Yeah.
I just love that the scene where they first, like, you get that big vista view of hell, and it's just like repeated Escher paintings.
Yeah. It's such a cool, unique version. Like, there's no other version of hell that's close to this.
Yeah. And it's, there is no fire. Really, there's no lava and magma spewing out of anything. It's just hell is endless.
Yep.
Hell is just you're stuck in a hallway and you're being chased by dudes with pins in their heads and throat vaginas and like slimy dick tendril things.
But that's only one part of hell. You also have Uncle Frank in his hell of being one horny motherfucker, and all of those naked, writhing women under the bed sheets that disappear whenever he removes the sheet. And so, like, the thing that drew him to the box to begin with is now his endless torture of, you can never have that because it is literally just out of reach.
Eternal blue balls, man.
Yeah. Real quick, because
go ahead,
Hellbound does something that very few, if any of these other movies do, where there is an auditory aspect of hell. With the surgeon, whenever he does his thing that he does, like, you hear how this has changed who he is on such a biological level. And my theory, because that little drill that drilled into his head is like still drilling, and it is just a constant drill. So whenever he's screaming, that oscillation is because he is constantly having his brain drilled. And again, you just don't get auditory hell in most of the other ones, other than just like screams and shrieks and basically like, oh no, I'm in pain type of thing.
Yeah, it kind of starts to become white noise a little bit in some of the other ones. I love this one. It does kind of a fun, like, there's an overarching hell that's overseen by like a weird pyramid looking demon thing. But then it also kind of throws in the fun, like, how hell manifests according to our own personal demons. And it's like, I can't help but admire the shit out of this because it is so fucking ambitious for like a fairly low budget or modestly budgeted horror sequel. And it's got these just gorgeous matte paintings and stuff. Like, I think it's really a whole lot of fun, and they just go absolutely wild with it.
Hellbound is also one of the only movies that has a kid in hell.
Interesting. Yeah.
The Chatterer, I think. Yeah, the Chatterer was.
Yeah, that's right. Because they show you like the human versions of them or whatever, and it's a child. Yeah. That's fascinating too. It does give you a lot of little glimpses of things. It's like, okay, so in this world, children can go to hell. Which is a thing that we always just assume for those of us who believe in hell as a real place, if we are of the Christian persuasion or whatever. It's like, oh, if you're a child, it's fine. You're not going to go to hell. Nobody would condemn a child. God wouldn't condemn you to hell. But yeah, it's interesting.
And God, I have so much to talk about, but we're not going to, because this is not a Hellraiser series and we still have more things to get through. And we do have a relative time limit. All right. Y'all ready to vote?
Ready.
Yeah, let me pull up my... Yep. I'm ready to go.
All right. Video rack attack. Oh, wait, shit. No, I have a thing. There's my boat.
Woo, Hellbound.
Queen
Oh,
Sweet.
I like your little pinhead guy. He's cool.
Right?
Well, it's too bad Kevin Costner here has never been in a Hell movie, or I could hold him up. My little Robin Hood guy.
Some of his movies are like watching hell.
Nah, that's a bit harsh.
I know. All right. So, yes, I am chaosing Tales from the Hood into the chaos bracket.
Man, interesting. All right, that's fine with me. Yeah, okay. So I got Chaos, Tales from the Hood. Oh, shit. I just realized I don't think I have a Tales from the Hood background. I may have forgotten to upload that one.
Just have to make sure it never wins.
I'm the one who put it in here.
It deserves to be here.
Like, I'm just going to, it'll lose on a technicality. I wanted to vote for this one, but I don't have a background for it. So.
All right, up next, we have This Night I'll Possess Your Corpse. Shit. Going up against Jigoku.
Oh, this is interesting. We got our two 60s films. Wait, yeah, okay. I forgot we only have one Jigoku.
Right.
Yeah, so that's very interesting. Huh.
So
okay.
I'll go ahead and start things off. These are both beautiful renditions of Hell, and they are both beautiful movies. And so if we were voting on movie, I would be just a split. Jigoku is, I think, a lot more torturous. Like, Jigoku feels more like hell. You've got some flayed bodies. You've got people in eternal torment. You've got the kind of standard hell things. You have a baby crying in hell as the one dude finds out, oh, my dead wife was pregnant and gave birth to a baby in hell. Sure. And so Jigoku is hitting a lot of like what makes hell. Again, with the torture, the personal torture, the torment, very emotional. But
it's interesting too, because it's kind of a lot of these movies are very like kind of Christian or Catholic in its depiction of hell, but this one is kind of based more on like Buddhist mythology, which is pretty interesting, where it's like you pay for all of your sins in the afterlife.
Right. And so there's a lot of like your sins affect the kind of torture that you have.
Right. Yeah. And there's this, I think it has one of the most like, there's one scene in this movie that I think is one of the most like upsetting things I've seen in any of these, which is there's a scene where you have this like guy who was a soldier in his previous life who had strangled a fellow soldier to take his canteen because he was thirsty. And so you have this incredible like image of him crawling toward this watering hole. And then like all these other bodies come up, and then he's like transported to this river that is a river of like pus and waste. And he's like, oh, you can drink as much as you want now. And then he gets strangled. And it's like, God, and it's just like this endless cycle of having to live through this over and over again. And it's truly horrifying. And it's a really remarkable feat of like special effects work and color and all this stuff for a film made in 1960. Like, it's unbelievable how like gory and horrifying a lot of this stuff is. You got like a doctor who has his chest ripped open and his heart's beating, and it's wild. And it's also, I believe, probably the only film on this list that's in the Criterion collection.
It also is on just about every single movie hell list ever. Yeah. It is one of the heavyweights with good reason. Yeah, it very much deserves to be there. Let me say
this is really a juggernaut versus an underdog.
Well, let me say one other really quick thing about This Night I'll Possess Your Corpse before we get Dan's thoughts and before I raise myself back out of hell, as the chair that I am in has me very slowly descending into hell. And yes, This Night I'll Possess Your Corpse is a black and white movie. Hell is in color, which is like a fun visual thing. But think about it within the reality of that movie. If their reality is a black and white reality, how is color going to break your brain? Again, like, think about how Lovecraftian insanity inducing that must be of what the fuck is that? What? Like, can you imagine? I can't even imagine what that would be like to have
I'm not voting for it. I'm just pulling up for anyone watching the video of it. It's just this really cool, like crazy, colorful.
It's a Technicolor hell. And so while the hell itself, not that much of a movie, not that much of the movie, it's one relatively small scene. Yes, it's hellacious, but not nearly to the extent of Jigoku. Just that simple fact
it's pretty rough.
I said not nearly to the extent of Jigoku, not nearly to the extent of other movies on the list. But again, the reality within the movie itself of what kind of reality breaking experience must that be? So those are my thoughts. And now I'm going to lift my seat back up because this is just awkward.
Yeah, this is one. So I just to add a slight bit of context. So this Night I'll Possess Your Corpse is a sequel to At Midnight I'll Take Your Soul, which is a Brazilian horror film in the Coffin Joe series. And I first learned about this series actually when we interviewed Chris Dortch, the director of CFF, a few years back, and he talked about the Coffin Joe series. And so the hell sequence in this movie is
also talk about Coffin Joe.
Oh, maybe Brian Lonano. Yeah, maybe I heard from. I can't remember who I would have heard from first. But either way, it's a CFF.
I'm sure that both of them have talked about Coffin Joe at some point.
But like, it's so striking. It's only like an 8-minute sequence, but it is genuinely terrifying. It's an incredible use of color. There are these like crazy black clad figures that like drag Coffin Joe out into a graveyard. He is literally dragged to hell, which is pretty cool. The ground like looks like it's breathing in hell. It does the like limbs sticking out of the ceiling and stuff. And then there's just all kinds of scenes of people being crucified and like having like a spike nailed into their forehead. And it's also cool because it's essentially a manifestation of Coffin Joe's guilt because he's not exactly a good guy. I'll leave it at that.
Nope.
And he even like he has a vision of himself as the devil with like he looks like Caesar sitting on a flaming throne and he's laughing at all the torture around him and he's like horrified at this devil he's become. I just think it's really interesting. And it's another movie where it's like it's pretty clear that it was done kind of on a shoestring and it's unbelievable what they pull off with the resources they have. But anyway, sorry, Dan, I'll let you.
Well, I'm actually not going to talk much about this one because I've only seen one of these films, so I don't want to give
okay.
Well, it's probably a good thing that you don't have too much to say because we kind of need to speed things along just a little bit.
It's
more.
true. Yeah, no, I'm so sorry. I just wanted to give a good shout out to this one because I feel like a lot of people probably don't know anything about it.
We will eventually go back and cover all of these movies eventually within the next 30 years.
All right.
You ready to vote?
I think I know what I'm going to vote for, and I'm curious to see how it goes. Anyway, I'm ready.
All right. Video Rack Attack.
Oh, Dan, you're voting for This Night I'll Possess Your Corpse. So am I.
Interesting.
Jigoku just lost. Wow. Fascinating. So, Dan, wait, is this the one that you've seen?
Yes.
That was not what I was expecting.
No.
Oh, for sure Jigoku would have been the one you'd seen. Interesting. Okay.
No, there was a recent box set put out of the Coffin Joe films.
Yeah.
So,
man, I really want to watch the whole series now. It's fascinating.
I have not seen all yet.
But yeah. Anyway, Nathan, you look like you're pondering.
I'm pondering, and this I hate being first in the order, and having to decide because Jigoku is such a powerhouse that it's like, how could we not advance it? But also with having just used one of my chaos cards, the next two are only to advance movies into the next bracket. And do I want to use it on this one? Or I know. And these aren't going to roll over, so I only have it for tonight. And what are the other movies?
We've only discussed 6, so there's a lot.
That's true.
10 left.
We're going to have to start putting like serious time limits on us here.
Yeah.
True. All right. You know what? I am
going to just keep eating time?
Yes, I am going to just keep eating time.
Nom, 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 nom.
You're like,
I can't have this movie not advance.
Oh my gosh.
And so I'm gonna advance it. I don't want to use it. I don't want to be the first one, but I don't want either of you to be like, I'm fine with it not advancing.
To the next round or to the chaos bracket?
Next round. I've already sent Tales from the Hood
sure.
into the chaos bracket.
Oh, good. So something's going to get bumped.
Yep.
It's always fun when this happens.
Hey, that's where the chaos is. All right. We've got to pick up the pace a little bit.
I'm trying
for a
to
lot of the upcoming
from doing this.
Do you want to? Do now is your opportunity, because as soon as I announce the next movies,
I'm just so concerned of something getting bumped out in the next round. But okay.
if you want to do it, you have to do it right now before I announce the next movies.
Fine.
All right.
It's for the audience. What's going to happen is if we advance it to the next round, that means there will be 9 movies and only 8 slots.
Right. So one of the movies will be bumped.
So one of them will not be drawn, and that means it gets eliminated. So that's fine. We'll let chaos decide our fates here.
All right. Up next, we have L'Inferno going up against Altered States.
Ooh, this one's easy. Altered States is kind of a bullshit pick that shouldn't be in here.
You're a bullshit pick that shouldn't be in here. Altered States is borderline eligible because you could
it's a hallucination.
You could argue it's a hallucination. I argue that it is not just a hallucination, because like the entire thing of the movie is he's not just hallucinating, he is actually going back to a primordial level, and like that is something that is physically happening to his body. So I argue that his quote unquote hallucination is actually him going into hell, and this has a very Hellraiser-esque aspect where like, yeah, it's a torturous experience, but it's so like otherworldly that he gets ecstasy from it. And he also like doesn't really connect to people. And so like, this is his way of connecting to the essence of something. And again, like if you
wait, there's a Ken Russell film where someone goes through ecstasy by doing something.
I know that's totally unheard of. It's also totally unheard of that there's gonna be like just sex and blood and maybe a werewolf gorilla primordial man. It's awesome. I fucking love this movie.
It's absolutely fucking buck wild, this movie. Like, it's unhinged.
Yep.
But it's also completely accurate because William Hurt is in hell.
Yes.
Not in the film. I mean, just in general.
That's according to most people that interacted with William Hurt, he was kind of a piece of shit. He's a pretty good looking piece of shit, though, I gotta tell you. I mean, my only problem is that just the depiction of hell is interesting. You know, it's this very psychedelic.
See, for me, it's one of the least interesting because it just hits all the notes you expect it to do.
That's the thing. It's a lot of lava. It's a lot of writhing nude bodies. They're all superimposed over images of like mass crucifixion. It's unsettling and gorgeous, but it's pretty brief and it's pretty standard.
It's a Thursday brunch for a Ken Russell movie, and that's fair. But it also and
the hell stuff is the least horrifying weird stuff in the movie.
Yes. Yeah. And even though this might be one of the least interesting representations because it's just kind of like, it also is one of the few that does present hell in more of like a non-linear, non-cohesive way where it is more of just like the flashing images and it is much more jumbled.
Which is interesting, yeah.
So I love this movie. I'm not going to waste a card on it when it loses, because that would be a waste, because then 2 movies would be kicked out. But I'm just going on record that I love Altered States. It's a great movie. And L'Inferno is the first movie, the first fully movie.
First movie.
It is the first movie. It's from 1911. It's
pretty amazing. Yeah, it's an adaptation of Dante's Inferno.
Yep.
The Divine Comedy, whatever. It's pretty amazing what they pull off in this movie. It's pretty unsettling. There's this one image in particular of like a man holding his own head with like a weird distended penis. I guess I don't know what it's supposed to be. It's really bizarre. It's like a melted Ken doll in his crotch area. I guess it was like a weird. I mean, it's pre-code, but anyway. And then you have, I think, the most iconic shot of the movie is the end where the big devil head is consuming human beings, and it's just really unbelievable. Some of the imagery they came up with for this movie. Well, especially for 1911. A
lot of that imagery is based off of like Renaissance paintings, like the image of like the great Satan eating people. Like that's an iconic image in art. No, this one's iconic. I mean, it's the first. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
It set the template. It's pretty remarkable. Hard to say much else about it.
Yeah, Dan, do you have thoughts?
No, let's vote.
All right. Eric, you ready?
I am ready. And, I called Altered States a bullshit pick, but I did actually upload a background for it. So
you're like, but I am actually going to vote for it.
Because you never knew what it could go against.
Exactly. Yeah. If it went up against, like, Spawn, I mean...
Yeah.
It's also got a cool poster.
Exactly.
All right, I'm ready.
All right. Video Rack Attack.
Ooh, La Inferno. Clean Sweep. Sorry, Altered States.
It's a great movie. Everyone should watch it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Should be released on a better fucking like source than it is now too. I still have like my original Warner Brothers case disc.
Oh, is it one of the ones with like the cardboard wolf?
Yeah, I won't like Arrow. Put out a 4K of that, man. Come on.
It is kind of crazy. It seems like that would be enough of a cult object for it to really like do pretty well in like with like an Arrow or a Kino or something like that. What are you doing, Nathan?
I'm jostling my balls in front of the microphone.
You were just sitting there.
So
you didn't look like you were jostling.
Auditioning for a Ken Russell.
Exactly. All right. Up next, we have great pairing. Thank you, Skull. We have Baskin going up against As Above, So Below.
Oh man, interesting.
The more modern ones.
Interesting.
Dan, let's start with you. What are some of your thoughts on this pairing? Or which one do you think should win?
I've always rode hard for fucking Baskin. It's another one of those films that kind of sneaks up on you that you're like, oh, I'm in hell. Okay. Mostly because I don't want to call it incoherent, but it is.
There's some dream logic.
Yeah, it's dream logic. It's in Turkish. So if you miss like any line of dialogue, you're like, wait, what the fuck's going on? Yeah. And mostly it's just so discombobulating because I wrote his name down so I can remember it. Mehmet Sarahaglu, the father, is the most demonic roles I've ever seen on film, where he is
incredible,
haunting me, and I'm like, this is what hell feels like, is talking to this dude, having to listen to this man and just get the absolute heebie-jeebies, just listening and watching him. Like hell is having to follow this guy around while he talks.
Yeah.
And it was a film that just, I had heard it was good when I watched it, and then I watched it and I'm like, damn, this one actually really kind of affected me. As Above, So Below. I mean, it's right there in the title. It's fun. It's a fun film. It's clever. Doesn't really stick with me though, the way that Baskin did.
Actually filmed in the catacombs. Yep. So the authenticity.
Yeah, they brought that. They brought that car in there. It's crazy.
One of the few found footage movies that I actually really enjoy. I have a lot of fun with As Above, So Below.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that, Nathan, because I know you.
I typically bounce off of them. Footage. This one makes sense why they're filming. Anyways, don't have time for that. I enjoy As Above, So Below. I love that both of these movies are dealing with a sort of labyrinthian, getting lost, not quite time loop in both of them. But there's some, you're kind of getting stuck in.
They start as one movie and become a different movie.
Yes.
Baskin starts as like a Tarantino-esque, like police, like shitty police officer kind of movie, and then slowly becomes Hellraiser.
So let me just say this really quick, because this is my main point about both of them, and then we can move to you and hopefully get through this episode relatively quickly.
Yeah.
spoilers for both of these movies. So if you don't want spoilers, skip ahead. Just like seriously, only about 90 seconds. As Above, So Below has such a bullshit ending of, oh, I can just think my way out of it. These aren't real demons. Let's walk back through and go back through. Now we're out of hell. Woo! I do not like the way that they get out of it.
That was very accurate with how the movie actually is. Yeah.
Right? And Baskin, because of the time loop element, because during the movie it's like, well, they're not in hell, they're just dead. But because of that time loop element, it's like, oh no, they will continue to go through this. And so the hell, even though they might not necessarily realize that they're going through it over and over and over, there's enough in the setup of getting there, of like going back to the diner scene, and enough awareness of, wait, haven't I been here before? That I do think that they are in a continual hell loop. And I think that the movie started with them dead, and you are watching one of their cycles of hell. So based on like pure hell, Baskin to me is a clear winner in these two.
Baskin's genuinely horrifying. There's some stuff that happens toward the end of the movie that's just like deeply upsetting. And I also like the idea of like I think it's the father character says, hell is not a place you go. Hell is something you carry with you, which is really interesting. And there's some cool imagery. Like I love the way they use like the massive frogs and stuff. The ending of As Above, So Below is kind of cheesy and stupid or whatever, but I like the idea that there's a redemptive quality to it that you don't really get, but it is kind of easy.
It is a fun movie, but it is purely, hell is all in my
Indiana
head.
Jones style, because they're basically looking for the Philosopher's Stone from Harry Potter, like it's the Nicholas Flamel thing.
Yeah.
And then becomes this other thing. And it's also one of those where it's like hell is it, people are enduring visions of their own personal hell, which is, you do what you can with the thing you have. It's a really good use of its location.
It is an effective movie. I did have fun with it. It's also true that every key scene of hell they show in the trailer, because those were the most interesting parts of the movie. And I say that enjoying the movie.
Yeah.
All right. You ready to vote?
Great.
Let's do it. Let me pull it up and all right. Yeah, let's go with this.
All right. Video Rack Attack.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Baskin.
All right. I am not using a chaos card. Did Eric, are you?
Nope.
All right. Dan?
Nope.
Yep. This was my my solidarity vote, just because I like, you all know me and my found footage love. And this one's solid. I heard like pretty bad things about this movie, and I feel like it kind of got a bad rap.
It did.
Really? I had heard decent things about it.
I definitely enjoyed the movie itself more than the movie Baskin, but the depiction of hell is hard to argue with in Baskin.
All right. Up next, we have Little Nicky.
Hell yeah.
Going up against All Dogs Go to Heaven.
Okay, Little Nicky, I fucking love. I've seen this movie so many times. I watched it so much as a kid. This was like, for some reason, the Adam Sandler movie I watched the most as a kid. I think it's fun. I think it treats hell almost as like a benevolent place, kind of, where it's like, hell is a place where we do mean shit to bad people because they were really bad people. John Lovitz is a...
Hell seems like a frat house. Like they're just kind of chilling. The torture is just shoving a pineapple up someone's ass.
That's the thing that's so interesting. It feels like a workplace. Like Satan is like the president and he has a schedule he has to keep. It's like, oh shit, it's time for me to shove a pineapple up Hitler's ass. It's really fun. I think that's cool. Harvey Keitel is this fun, like he's like the debonair version of the devil with like, the little goatee thing that you see on like
the soul
the soul patch. Yeah, he's like the devil you see on a bottle of elixir.
Yep.
And this film came out in 2000 or 2001, I think, but geez, it feels so nice.
He looks kind of like the devil from Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah. It's fun. I think the sets are really cool. It's a slightly bigger budget for some of these movies. Nicky's like rocking out to Van Halen, and I do love the idea that like the two metalhead guys die and go to hell, and that's like their version of heaven. Like that's so fucking cool to me that hell can actually be like a rad place that you go to if you worship Satan. And I don't know. I just think it's really fun. You get John Lovitz being chased by birds and shit. Ozzy Osbourne shows up.
The movie is fine. It is not. It is by far not the worst Adam Sandler movie.
The devil can mate with both angels and fire dragons. You know.
I mean, that just stands without reason.
That's cool.
The movie is fine. Far from the worst Sandler movie. My biggest problem with it, and why, God, I just the stupid voice affectation that he does, and the way that he carries himself, it makes the movie seem so ableist.
He's like the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yeah, kind of.
We argue this a little bit. They do a good enough explanation of him. He gets hit with a shovel in the face, which is why he has that affectation. I think Adam Sandler just likes doing funny voices, so whatever.
But he could have
film. He made money off of doing ridiculous voices in that era.
I know.
And his emo haircut and all that. I think it's. I get where you're coming from, but I think it doesn't strike me the same way. But
Hell is a Fallout Boy haircut.
Hell is the son of the devil is Pete Wentz.
I think that it's fine, but it is also one of the movies that has a predominant setting in hell. So here's why All Dogs Go to Heaven. And you could also make the argument that this is not a real hell and it is only a dream sequence, except for the fact that then later at the end of the movie, the dragon from the dream sequence is also there to claim Burt Reynolds' soul. So clearly what he dreamed is what actual hell is. So a couple of the things about All Dogs Go to Heaven that make
some fun mythology too, where the idea of all dogs going to go to heaven, but it's interesting that Charlie's not actually a good dog.
Well,
but he gets to go to heaven on a technicality.
If anyone ever wants to know why Gen X is fucked up, remember that we made a children's cartoon about dogs dying and there being a potential hell for dogs.
And that is why this movie, for me, has the edge, because I have had a dog who is now dead. That was a huge part of my life, almost half of my life. I had this dog, and all good doggos go to heaven. They're such good doggos. And so to see a dog in hell, it's just no.
Yeah.
No, I'm sad. So,
I wonder what they do with the sequel.
More songs.
Well, yeah, I mean, I just wonder how they. Anyway, interesting concept in that movie. But the hell, maybe a little lacking.
I disagree. The hell, it is very. It has some of the, again, maybe standard tropey where it's very quickly switching between this part of hell and this part of hell and this part of hell. But to me,
a river of lava. There's a dragon. There's a boat.
There's little demons biting at his ankles.
Yeah, little demons.
But also that is a very constant, just a very constant hell. All right, I'm ready to vote. Dan, do you have any additional thoughts?
Nope, we're good to go.
Have to scroll back a little bit to find that movie because. All right. Here we go. Video Rack Attack.
Woo, damn it, Dan.
Thank you,
I hate
Dan.
that fucking film. Sorry.
But this depiction of hell is so cool.
I hate that film so fucking much. I will never vote for it for anything. I even remember that McFarlane made a little Nicky action figure.
He did, yeah.
And it sat on the shelf of the record store that I worked at forever because no one would fucking buy it. And I'm like, please. And anyone who came in and thought about buying it was the worst person of the day.
So, Eric, Dan, and I, clearly not using a chaos card. Are you keeping little Nicky alive?
I mean, what's the point?
Good.
What's the point?
At the end of the horns.
Man.
All right. Bummer. Two more matchups in round one.
It's a fun version of hell. He gets whatever.
The movie
I'm really bummed.
Fine.
But the hell is cool and unlike any of the others.
Agreed.
All right.
But I still won't ever vote for it.
Man.
Up next, we have Mad
Rodney
God.
Dangerfield's there.
Up next, we have Mad God going up against South Park. Bigger, longer, and uncut.
Oh, interesting. So cards on the table. Mad God is my it's a fucking juggernaut. This is absolutely my favorite.
Oh, God. I thought you were about to say like, no, that movie is. I don't know what you were about to say. I was worried.
No, Mad God is just incredible. I think like so many of these movies depict these like characters enduring their own personal vision of hell or whatever, but like Mad God is Phil Tippett's hell, and he exercised it by just throwing it on screen over the course of 30 years. It's like it makes so much sense for him as an artist because he's, obviously he's a fucking legend in the world of stop motion animation. And, he's had to endure all of these changes with like he did stop motion on Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi and won Oscars and did RoboCop. And then Jurassic Park comes along and he sees the CGI on that and he says, oh shit, I'm extinct, essentially. Like to the point where like him saying that became a line in the movie. And it's interesting to understand that. And then, he adapted and he got into that stuff or whatever. But like his version of hell is this like endless, gruesome assembly line of machinery where workers are like literally shit out and ground to a pulp by the machinery that they're like made to keep running. And it's interesting to think of that and think of like the workflow of how movies are made now and to like think about the way that he has experienced his art kind of being ground down and the way that he feels making stuff. I mean, it took him for fucking ever to make this movie because he couldn't get any funding. And he's this like incredible artist who's had to deal with like depression and stuff his entire life. And like, I don't know. Anyway, it's an unbelievable work of art that is truly like feels the most hellish thing in the entire world to me.
And I think that this ties back to what I said at the start of the episode, where hell is so much easier to represent in like art as a visual medium because there's so much more to play with. The stop motion, I feel like, gives him so much more liberty to make things so just otherworldly bizarre. But because it's real stuff and not poorly rendered CGI, it also gives it that tactile feeling of like, this feels like hell. In regards
to truly nightmarish in a way basically no other movie I've ever fucking seen is. Like, it's unreal.
It is absolutely a visual experience. I do have one very small critique, not about the hell, but the movie itself, because it is pure hell with kind of a plot going through it, and all of the people in hell are just like these faceless things. There's less to actually like emotionally connect to. So it's like, oh God, that feels hellacious. Am I supposed to care about this person, or was this person like a racist, homophobic piece of shit that kind of deserves it? So like without having any connection to the torture that they're going through, it's harder to connect, but it is unquestionably visually holy shitballs hell. Yeah.
I guess it helps to know who Phil Tippett is and understand like the things he's gone through. If anybody hasn't seen the Light and Magic documentary series on Disney Plus, you absolutely have to watch it. They spend a lot of time talking about Phil and like just the absolutely incredible work he's done and the life he's led. And I love him so much. I want to hug him so bad.
And there's no question about the craft. There's no question about the torturous hell. I'm just saying there's no like character to connect to. South Park is a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's the only one with Saddam Hussein's penis.
My favorite thing about the version of the hell in South Park is that when Kenny is denied entry into heaven and he's like falling down, you see a little thing that's like hell population, like I think it's like 1,600 people. And that's so fucking funny that like, or no, I'm so sorry. The population of heaven is 1,600 people.
Yeah. And then hell is in like the billions.
And hell is in the billions or whatever. That's so fucking funny to me.
It also seems like a genuinely torturous version of hell. Most of what you see of hell is Satan and Saddam, but you get enough when Kenny first shows up of like hell. And you have Satan trying to take over the world. You have, again, a lot of the tropes that we started with also show up in South Park. You have Kenny getting out of hell. You have with a lot of sacrifice, a lot of self-sacrifice to get out of hell. So there's your pro tip for the day. Dan.
I also love that. Oh, one last thing that this is all I'll say is I love that Satan also has a song where he dreams of a life on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Which is that actually in the movie or is that in the show? I can't remember. Like, I didn't.
It's
It
in
is
the
in the
movie.
movie.
Yeah.
Okay. I couldn't remember because I know that Satan pops up in the show a lot too. But yeah, he has like he's like Ariel in the Little
Yes.
Mermaid singing "Part of Your World." It's incredible.
Yes.
No, and that's honestly one of my favorite parts of the depiction of hell is that the devil is just a dude with a really shitty boyfriend.
That's awesome.
It's so wonderful to me to think about that he doesn't know how to, even he didn't know how to deal with Saddam, even though he still loves him. You know, he can't figure out how to please him, and he just feels used and abused by him, and it's kind of heartwarming. You feel for the devil.
Yeah. Sympathy for the devil.
I've been going back through and listening to Junk Food Cinema, and I'm currently in their class of 99. And so I recently listened to their South Park episode. So if anyone's not listened to that, go back and listen. It is a great episode. Cargo gives a lot of context for what that movie actually is and its treatise against the NBA.
And also, still one of my favorite theater experiences of all time is going to see South Park in the theater and seeing parents with children there before the film starts and just waiting, going, this is going to be phenomenal. And then it took one song. All it took was one song, and people headed towards the exits.
Yep. What is the first?
Uncle Fucker.
Is it okay? That's what I thought. Yeah, it's shut your fucking face, Uncle Fucker.
Yep.
That's a real a real declaration.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god! All right, we ready to vote?
Ready?
Oh shit!
We've lost Eric.
I accidentally turned my video off when I was trying to find my little background here. Here it is. All right, ready to go.
Video rack attack.
Oh man, I am very shocked to see a clean sweep for Mad God. I thought
really.
You guys were giving a lot of love to South Park there. I was a little nervous. I love it.
I do, but like you said, it went up against the juggernaut.
If we were voting for the movie, I would have voted for South Park. Like just a purely enjoyable experience, yeah, I would have gone South Park. But we're talking about hell. There's no question Mad God is a worse hell.
The fact that Mad God is not an enjoyable experience to an extent probably aids it in this case.
Yeah.
And I will say, I think it's a blast to sit through. It's a real.
So here we are with Dan's redraw finally coming back out with Constantine going up against Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
We got the two Keanus against each other. Okay. Oh man, this is really tough. So Nathan, I talked to you a little bit about Bill and Ted initially, and I think I wasn't thinking about it fully at the time. I hadn't rewatched it, and I was like, the Vision of Hell and Bill and Ted's just kind of whatever. But it's actually one of my favorites. It's really
it is
really
one of the
cool.
ones that taps the most into their own personal eye to hell.
It's emotional.
It's emotional
for a film called Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. It's like an emotional connection there.
Well, I love that it initially starts off kind of Hellboundy, which is it's a series of hallway. It's like almost a mix of the Mad God industry version with the Hellbound thing. I love that it's a series of hallways that are small enough that you have to crouch. Because like me and my bad back, I'm sitting here like that would be fucking miserable just to have to navigate these hallways. And then you have all these different corridors where the fact that you get to choose your eternity is fascinating. Like the idea that you could go through and see all of these different versions of hell that you have to decide your own version of hell is so torturous to think about.
Mm-hmm.
And it has this great German expressionist, colorful, fun visions of hell that are also scary. And you also get them going into the little like thing at the beginning with like the big devil guy.
Yeah,
there.
My note on it was just how disproportionate hell felt for them.
Yeah. It's really rad. I mean, it's so fucking cool.
I don't know which way to vote because I love both of these movies. They're both very different in tone, very different in representation of hell. I love that Constantine has more of that like self-sacrifice and like hell feels more real in that movie because it is a more reality-based movie. But the hell that Bill and Ted experience, like it is such a hellacious hell. And again, it's so vibrantly colored that there's almost that glimmer of maybe it won't be so, oh dear God, no, it's just making it even worse that it's in such bright colors.
Mm-hmm.
They both have Keanu.
It is tough because the version of hell in Constantine's really cool and has this kind of very interesting Catholic interpretation where you're damned to hell for suicide and you have to kind of deal with that.
Dan, what are your thoughts?
The way he deals with demons is interesting. Yeah, go ahead, Dan.
I was gonna say, for me, the most interesting part of hell is the devil, and Peter Stormare is an amazing devil, but he's not in hell.
Right.
Yeah. Peter, like the best part of hell is in our world in this film.
That's a good point.
For me, Constantine, it looks like burned out Los Angeles. You know,
I mean, it's basically the Upside Down, right? Yeah. Because he's entering through a portal. He uses he uses water and stuff as a conductor.
I loved his scenes more with Stormare on Earth.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just wish he had been more in the hell scenes.
The thing that's kind of scary.
That I think clinches it for me. I love Constantine. The hell in Constantine does seem very hell, but it seems like a very, again, my critique with Mad God, it's a very faceless hell. It seems like, it's torturous because it's like
a lot of faceless demons. You don't see people. I mean, you kind of, people are in. He has to go in hell to rescue Rachel Weisz's sister or whatever. But like, it's still hell is mostly populated by just random faceless demons.
Yeah.
The thing that's most scary and interesting about Constantine is the idea that it's, one of those, like, the devil and God have this wager about the souls that they claim. And it almost has like an old gods kind of like Lovecraftian idea to it, where we're just like little playthings that the gods are, maneuvering us. We're pieces on a board to them, which is really interesting. Even the idea that like God himself is kind of ambivalent to us and is using us as a game. But that also isn't necessarily a part of the actual depiction of hell. So
Constantine is a stronger contender in the Hell on Earth series, and I'm sure we'll eventually get to that where we have demons and
Lucifer.
Right.
Yeah.
Ooh, I really, really want to do that, and I know what guest I want to join us, and I hope that we can get the scheduling worked out, but that is neither here nor there. What is here is time to vote for which Keanu is going to advance.
All right, I'm ready to go when you are.
Ready to go?
Video Rack Attack.
Woo! Bill and Ted. Not bogus.
Very true. All right, so we are right at the time where I was hoping that we would be ending, but we still have
it always goes quickest after the
film. We'll power through it. We've talked about all the movies now. Now it's just a matter of the matchups and seeing who comes out on top.
And both of you still have your chaos cards, so there can be a lot of chaos thrown in. But yes, at this point, it is just, we've already made all of the arguments. It's just, here's the pairing. Any quick thoughts about that specific pairing, and then a vote.
Yep.
All right.
Nervous about what's going to get kicked out here.
Mm-hmm.
And there are 9 movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because which one did I advance? I advanced Jigoku. Forgot to write that down. All right, so up first we have All Dogs Go to Heaven.
Fuck.
Going up against Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
Oh.
What a fucking bummer that movie has been pulled out. I'm sorry, no offense to All Dogs Go to Heaven.
So, I love Don Bluth movies. I love All Dogs Go to Heaven. This one's not even a question. Is it? We're ready to vote?
Ready to vote.
Yeah. Video Rack Attack.
Didn't even have to change your background.
No. I thought about changing it back to the CFF one and then, changing it to Bill and Ted again. There you go. But, yeah. Good on you, Bill and Ted.
All right. Up
Going
next,
the distance.
we have Mad God going up against Baskin.
Oh.
I feel like the skull is giving us
the two shutters.
I was going to say
slightly
these
more
are
interesting
good.
pairings.
This is a bleak pairing of films, man.
Yeah.
Someone is not having a good weekend if they watch these back.
Which, let me tell you, I did. It was not fun.
Oh,
And it was a great weekend. All right. Y'all ready to vote?
ready.
Yeah. No, wait. Hold on. I'm almost ready. Yep. Let's go.
All right. Video Rack Attack.
Woo. Okay. Sweet. I was a little nervous. I know Dan loves Baskin a lot.
I love Baskin, but man, Mad God feels like those Tool videos from the 90s where freaked the fuck out by him.
Mad God's just unbelievable. Man, I hope if anybody watching this hasn't seen it and are interested in this subject at all, I really hope we get people to watch it.
All right. Up next. Oh, thank Christ. We have Hellbound, Hellraiser 2 going up against This Night I'll Possess Your Corpse.
It's actually a little tough for me.
I'm just glad that Hellraiser came out. I was a little bit worried that I was going to knock that one out.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Ready to vote?
I'm still thinking. I think that I am going to pick this one.
All right.
All right.
Video Rack Attack.
Hellbound, the clean sweep. I almost did a protest vote for This Night I'll Possess Your Corpse.
It would have been a worthwhile protest. Oh yeah, Chaos Cards. I'm not using it on this night. Eric, are you?
I haven't used them. I haven't seen anyone want to use them yet.
Yeah, I assume we're going to jump in on them, but
remind me of what's left. It's What Dreams May Come.
Jigoku.
What Dreams? Jigoku.
L'Inferno.
L'Inferno. That's it?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Shit. I'm not going to use it.
All right. Is there a certain movie, Eric, that you are hoping comes out of the skull?
I kind of hope L'Inferno doesn't come out of the skull. Honestly,
well, your hopes are dashed because it's L'Inferno going up against Jigoku.
Oh man! Fucking did it.
Eat your chaos.
As a reminder that I forgot to mention at the start, Chaos Cards are transferable. It takes 3 to get a movie into the Chaos bracket. One of you can give the other one a Chaos card to pull that together to be 3 to put What Dreams May Come into the Chaos bracket.
I'm down.
Yep.
Let's do it. Wait, which one of can I?
So now you have to
I have a fox catcher.
First,
I have to have a chaos card to use.
Yes, you do.
So does Dan want to give up both?
So I'll give up both.
Again, these aren't going to go forward.
I was going to ride for What Dreams May Come. So
okay, I'm good with that.
All right. So now let's vote on Jigoku versus L'Inferno.
Okay.
All right.
Wait.
All right.
Here we go. I'm ready.
Video Rack Attack.
Yay! I have to use my Jigoku background.
I went classic, but I'm not heartbroken on that loss.
I mean, L'Inferno is really great, but Jigoku literally means hell. I mean, you know, but also I guess L'Inferno kind of does too.
Yep. All right. So
I just like color. I know that makes me a stupid person who doesn't appreciate great classic art.
All right. So this means that in the final 4, we have Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, Mad God, Hellbound, and Jigoku.
I fucking used that Foxcatcher earlier.
Waiting in the Chaos bracket, we have What Dreams May Come and Tales from the Hood.
Yep.
All right. So in the final 4, we have Mad God going up against Hellraiser.
Hey, I have a question. Do both of the losers go into the chaos round?
Yeah. In the final four, both of these are going into the chaos bracket.
Okay, so there's really, man, I have the Foxcatcher. I'm not even going to get to use it.
Yeah.
Not really. There's no reason.
Yeah, not really.
What a bummer.
All right. These are two of the ones that I said at the top when I was like, you know what? If either of they're like 6, they can make it into the top 3. These are 2 of them, so I will be happy with whichever one wins. Y'all ready to vote?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Video Rack Attack.
Oh, man. Hellbound.
I love you, Dan.
So Hellbound is definitely in the top 3.
It's because that one it's still
got it in the title
to this day, and it's Clive Barker. And I feel like if I vote against Clive Barker, something awful will happen to me.
That's fair.
This really.
So this means that
I did not want this pairing of the two, though. I did not.
Yeah, that was the worst. Man.
That means that we have Jigoku.
That redraw.
Jigoku going up against Bill and Ted.
Now. Wow.
That's...
Wow.
We have Jigoku going up against Bill and Ted.
Uh-huh.
In the chaos bracket, we have Mad God, Tales from the Hood, What Dreams May Come, and whichever one of these loses.
Can I use a chaos card to like take a movie out of the chaos bracket? There's too many.
No.
Both of the movies in the chaos bracket that I really want to advance could be knocked out.
Yep.
Fuck. Man, I played this all wrong. All right. Anyway, so yeah, Bill and Ted versus Jigoku. Yep. I am ready to vote when you all are.
All right. I think I'm ready.
Yeah.
All right. Video Rack Attack.
Oh, yes, Dan. My brother.
I love that I made both of you happy with
my brother.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
I went from being a Bill and Ted skeptic to watching and being like, fuck, this is one of the best depictions of hell in movies. It's so good.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah. Yep. What am I doing? Goes over there. That's fine. Okay. So now this means that we need to vote between Hellbound and Bill and Ted for which one is number 1. So between 1 and 2, Hellbound and Bill and Ted. What is number 1?
Back to CFF
to build
is
some obviously would be
here.
Number 2. All right. Are you all ready to vote?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Video Rack Attack.
Oh, okay. I had a feeling that was going to happen, but I had to go for it. Man. That's okay. No, listen. Hellbound is great. Again, it was one of the first things I thought of. I'm super happy it's number 1. I'm just really bummed at what's not number 1. And it's not necessarily Bill and Ted, but Bill and Ted making it number 2, I'm thrilled about.
Y'all know my unabiding love for Hellraiser, and I had an entire speech prepared about how Hellbound is like the best depiction of hell because, and I'm just bantering as I try to get this last round ready, because it has like all of the things. It has personal hell, it has torture, it has pleasure versus pain, it has a hell that you can escape, it's hell as a physical space but also an alternate realm. It's like all of
it
these
wrapped
things.
into one, yeah.
It is all of them. All right, so there are 4 movies in the chaos bracket.
It's the worst part every time.
Tales from the Hood. I've already said them enough. What are they? I don't remember. Tales from the Hood, Jigoku,
Mad God, and Jigoku.
Yeah. All right. So, Eric, we'll go with you first since you were the second in trivia. So they're all the same, green and white. So Eric, you have 1, 2, 3, or 4.
This is like choosing my eternity.
Yes, it is. This is choosing your Bill and Ted door.
I'm going to go with 3.
3. All right. So I'm moving 4 over
What's
there.
great in Bill and Ted is when he says drop and give me infinity. He's like, I don't think I can do infinity. He's like, but what if they let us do them girly style?
All right. So Dan, 1, 2, or 3?
Well, since we've got Friday the 13th coming up when we're recording this, and Eric's already picked number 3, I'll pick number 1.
All right. So number
Ooh, I like
1.
that.
Well, a little shout out to Jason Goes to Hell.
I tried to come up with a Jason Goes to Hell trivia question. I couldn't come up with anything fun. I did find out that there's a Friday the 13th Hell Lake, or there's a Friday the 13th novel called Friday the 13th Hell Lake that's about Jason going to hell. That sounds really fun.
Oh.
I've never heard of before.
All right. Neither of you are going to be happy,
Oh.
but I think that this is the right pairing to be in a top 3 because how could these two juggernauts not make it to the top? Jigoku versus Mad God.
Okay, I'm happy.
Yeah. With the
okay.
ones that
Well-
made it into the chaos bracket, Tales from the Hood shouldn't have come out.
Fair.
I would agree.
I'm bummed about what dreams may come, but also given what I have to choose from here. Yeah, anyway, I'm stalling. What's up? I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Yes.
All right. Video Rack Attack.
Thank
Yep.
God. Thank God you guys, you did the right thing.
I'm actually quite happy with this.
Did the right thing.
So
Mad God and Bill and Ted were my absolute 2 must-haves. And then that third one, there were a few different things I would have been happy with. But
Hellbound was my, it has to be there. No question.
Mm-hmm.
I would have been fine
Hellbound-
with it not number 1, but it was my own personal number 1. So I'm super ecstatic. And then I love the balance between the comedy of Bill and Ted and the utter just soul-sucking, torturous, never-ending hell that you get from Mad God.
Because when Hellbound isn't bleak enough.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
Hellbound is fun. It's got fun, squishy stuff in it. And Mad God, I mean, honestly, there were a few times in Mad God where I laughed out loud because it's very, especially when you got some of those little shit cutout guys that just get squashed. It's kind of funny how ambivalent everything is to these guys being demolished and stuff. But it is very upsetting and terrifying. And I think this is a good representation of the various different types of hell. I mean, it also makes sense to have the one movie that has the word hell twice.
Hellbound,
in its title.
Hellraiser. Yep.
The hell, so nice. They said it twice, whatever. I don't know.
Yep.
Makes the most sense.
I am also glad that both Hellbound and Bill and Ted have the personal hell. So we have the emotional side of hell. We have humor. We have not quite a musical, but almost a musical because of the music of the Wild Stallions.
Wild Stallions, yeah.
We've got, again, not hand-drawn animation, but we have stop-motion animation. So this, I think, is a very well-rounded view of hell in all of its hellacious glory.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm very happy.
It's a good top 3.
Yeah. All right.
Whew. Really bummed I didn't get to use my Foxcatcher, though. That sucks. I should have used it on Jigoku.
I thought about using it on Altered States earlier just to give you a reason to stop it. But
oh, I see. You tried to draw out my.
No, not to draw it out, but all right. It was more of I know that if I try to use it, he's just going to stop it. So why bother?
Oh, I see. Interesting.
Yeah, because I knew you weren't going to let that go. All right. That has been our Infernal Visions, cinematic depictions of hell. Sorry. I forgot some of the puns during the episode. And with that, we're going to get the hell out of here. So go enjoy the rest of Chattanooga Film Festival. Watch more movies and meet more people. Join us in Discord. Be a part of the conversation. Make sure that you not subscribe, but make sure you join Chattanooga Film Festival's Patreon and become part of their Double Secret Cinema Cinema Society. I don't know why I keep just emphasizing the S like I'm Sir Hiss from Robin Hood.
Like you're a snake.
Yes. Join
A
us.
serpent. Tempting us with forbidden fruit.
Never mind. Join the Chattanooga Film Fest, the thing that I just said, Patreon, to join the Double Secret Cinema Society on Discord and be a part of this wonderful Cine family throughout the rest of the year.
Cine family,
or sinfully cinematic cinnamon
sensation.
Now I just want like a cinnamon horchata. That's anywho. We need to end things right now. That's what it you know what, follow us. We're around, we're on Facebook, we're on places, we're what are we, Video Monster Pod.
I like how Facebook is the first. Yeah, Facebook, you know, where your mom goes.
Check out our MySpace page while you're at it.
Yeah.
That is a carriover from when we used to like actually give all of the socials. Facebook was just the one that I mentioned first. Join us, go to linktree.com/videomonsterpod for all of the links for us. And again, be sure to follow Chattanooga Film Festival, join the Patreon, join the Discord, keep watching movies, respect cinema. And yeah, that's been it for this episode of it's not an episode of Video Monsters. That's been it for Video Monsters at Chattanooga Film Festival. We will see you next time. Good night, everybody.